chance to kind of realize his project. Although nowadays there are arguments that the realization of his project is through some of the ubiquitous technology projects. So they've taken bits and pieces of his ideas and implemented in their own projects. So you could see that at least his influence, his legacy, still continues. This is one of the first drawings, and I think the latest maquette he made was in '72. After that he kind of, I don't know, dropped the project. So unitary urbanism, the synthesis we call for incorporating arts and technologies, must be created in accordance with new values of life, values which now need to distinguish and disseminate. As I said, it was a kind of a radical group of artists and activists, so quite a lot of what they were talking about was about a new life, very utopian somehow, and very leftist as well. So I think that quite a few of them belong to different communist parties in Europe, and I think probably some even more left than the Communist Party. So here you have, again, Asger Jorn, another key member of, how to say, the Situationist, which is interesting, against functionalism. That was his manifesto in 57. So unitary urbanism acknowledges no boundaries. It aims to form a unitary human milieu in which separations such as work, leisure, or public-private will finally be dissolved. And I'll tell you how. Here is constant, and this is one of his spheric kind of capsule of New Babylon. Almost New Babylon looked like Star Wars or something from a sci-fi fiction. And what he proposed was a lot to do with sci-fi of the time. So his city was was within this capsule. And he created this idea of a new environment, that everything could be, manipulated by the inhabitants. In fact, he was actually proposing intelligent buildings. Buildings that they would change the lights as you walk about, as it happens here, for instance. It will, the atmosphere, meaning the temperature, and all sorts of different things. Or as you walk, you could actually, touch the door, and the door falls down and becomes a ladder and takes you down to the ground floor, and sorts of things like that. Very playful as a concept. So here you have a maquette of his work, so you could see the interconnection. One other thing which is interesting, or a key word for nowadays, is networks. He talked about networks, that somehow people will work through networks, or will communicate. We will be strangers, but at the same time, neighbors. It depends on how you move and change the place. That's another one. This is the most famous one, the north part of New Babylon. And I won't go through all of this, but I'll just move here. That we required adventure. It was about playfulness again. Not finding it any longer on Earth. They are those who want to look for it on the moon. Okay. We opt first to create situations here, new situations. So he was bringing again the element of creating situations within his project. And this is the other thing, that above all my project serves as a provocation. It was mostly provocations, most of the things that the situation is proposed. So once they asked Guy Debord if he's a situationist, he said, no, I'm not. When they asked him if he's a Marxist, he said, no, I'm not. So it was actually provoking, or kind of almost like objecting anything, refusing anything that was given to him as names. These were the three things, the two things that proposed, the three, on the New Babylon: automation, collective ownership, which means participation, participating, and free time. I would say that the automation, definitely collective ownership, it has been discussed quite a few times in some of the projects that they use this idea, the artistic exploration through locative media and ubiquitous technologies. So here you have a view of New Babylon, almost, it's actually a drawing, collage stuff. So it was above sea level and landscape. And that was what he was proposing. Creativity, playfulness, a ludic, a playful society, a nomadic city where people would move, a labyrinth network related space. And, okay, any questions so far? Because we'll move now to the second part. This is probably the, bringing it to now, why you had to go through all these slides. So here it is actually that we have a couple of, mainly I think group of accesses actually, and not so much from informatics, but they try probably to find a nice term to define what probably they were doing. So, but somehow if you look on their process, you can see close relationship with what I've discussed so far. So quite a lot of them see themselves as digital situationists, or proposing digital unitary urbanism through their projects. So they say here that digital unitary urbanism maintains this interest in technology as means of evoking a new kind of urbanism characterized by the ability of individuals and social groups to appropriate and co-create urban space. And I think this is the key element. I mean, the co-creation of urban space. It's not just somebody puts something for you, it's you that you make the space. You reappropriate it. And obviously a new idea, a new concept of urbanism here. Here you have more like the objective. Is a rethinking of the functionalistic understanding of mobile and location-based technologies. But I will say here, oops, there's something missing here, that because we're talking about urbanism, is as well a rethinking of the urban as well, not only of the location and the mobile technologies. So the concept of digital unitary urbanism is based on a utopian and idealistic approach as well as a socio-cultural investigation of the current technological development. And here you could see where they came about. So you have the Situationist and Henri Lefebvre, another key thinker, philosopher, French, and Bruno Latour, who is a key figure, he's a sociologist, but kind of late, the last, I think 15 years, Chris, I think, he's more interested in the technology. And so here you have one interesting project which fits under this category, the urban tapestries. In fact, I've given to all, the website so that you could play about with that. It is, I think it's mostly in London, and through a particular platform, it's almost like public authoring your urban landscape, trying to narrate your everyday encounters in the urban landscape. So it's about the human desire to map territory, to try to, locate yourself, but talk about your moving locations, moving through locations. So the Urban Tapestry software platform allows people to author their own visual annotations of the city, enabling the community's collective memory to grow organically, allowing ordinary citizens to embed social knowledge in the new wireless landscape of the city. By using your mobile phone and bringing this information in a particular platform, you create your own spatial story. You make yourself present. You're not just somebody in the crowd. You're present, you're there. So this is one of the interesting elements of this particular project. It's almost like juxtaposing or layering, or like the laminated topology thing that Chris is working on another course, to bring those information through. So you have a political thread, the historical, the social, the multi-thread, according to what people will narrate, and audio narrate, photograph, image narrate, or just text narrate in the urban tapestry. So here you see how it works. It's through drifting, because you walk in the city anyway. It's about authoring, telling about, locating yourself. It's about the pocket. It's, it's movable, it's yours, you participate with that. So it's about new ways of appreciating and interacting with the fabric of the city. It's about excavating. It's almost like archaeological excavation, somehow digging the stories out. Then we have one which is quite popular, the yellow arrow. And I think, because I have only this image, it doesn't make much sense. If I go and show you, it's actually sticking these yellow arrows in different locations in mostly urban contexts, see if it works. Oh my God. Let's say, okay, I'm just gonna, okay. See here around the world. So Yellow Arrow is a global public art process of local experiences, combining stickers, mobile phones, and an international community. It's about participation. It's about telling your story in a more global context, okay, and sharing. So if I click to these ones, I could get the stories of these people moving around these particular terrains, okay, and somehow it's almost like subverting, giving me these ideas, okay, these moments of themselves living in these places. And you can see there as well different projects related with the Yellow Arrow, so I definitely encourage you to go and look through these ones, like Capitol and Punk, The Secret New York, looking almost like excavating again the secret, not secret, the hidden locations of New York, the locations that as tourists we may not know, but even as residents we may not know in this case. So this actually is a New York-based, started from New York and then moved on around. Biomapping, which is one of my kind of favorite ones by Christian Nolte. Again, this is probably closer to any of the other projects I've seen in relation to psychogeography. I mean, he tries through his project to cartograph, in fact, emotions by moving to the different environments. So somehow he asks residents, by geotyping themselves, almost, to kind of like, how say, not narrate, but in every different place they were moving, the different emotion they were getting. So somehow he created this graph where the different colors give a different emotion, mood of the people and tell us a lot about the particular urban environments. This has been all around, not all around, definitely all around Europe and a couple of cities in Britain. I think it's Norwich. It started from Norwich. I think he's based in Norwich. So here as well, together with the emotions, you have people sending text messages of things they've seen or things they feel. So, and you have the names. Footbridge crossing motorway. I was worried we would be lost back. Fear behind